Ink-a-dink, 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 ink-a-dink. Wow! Okay. Blessed Sunday morning. It's I see a red light.
All right.
Yeah, I'll get the hang of this thing eventually. I can't count on Snarky and Tweety to get it right, because they're still upset about the non-interview or the Inky Dinky interview that we had a couple of years ago or a year ago. So, blessed Sunday morning. It's welcome back to the second half of our 512 of Basil BuddhaCat presents ! The Basil-Athon. And speaking of Basilica, which we weren't, but I think Basil-Athon segued into Basilica. Makes sense. I mean, Trump into Drumski into Drumstick. It's not that big of a stretch. So she's still back there? Okay. Say, yep. Still back there. I'd hate to see the back of your head. See what it looks like after it's been back there. Oh, it's not a pretty sight. The back of Basil's head, or the visage of Donald Drumstick. So we got Basil looks okay in the front. He's got his plumage. It's got his iridescent peacock feather, which is backed up by his under plumage, both peacock under plumage, and way up here in the back. This is the one that got away. Apparently, this is one got kind of a crew cut somewhere along the way. So, you had a conversation with the Pope. So, I can see you. Hold on, I'll move you a little bit so the camera can see a little bit better. Okay. A few years ago, the Pope was giving him tips, and got everyone right till just about the very end. And a team from the University of Florida called came up against a team from UConn, the Huskies, and Basil doesn't prejudge dogs. He likes dogs. He's had some dogs in his life that were very friendly and actually paid proper homage to him and respect. So, but he was letting it ride all the way through the tournament, and this is game number. There were 399 teams going in, and they chose lots to take one of them out so they could take a couple of them out so they could actually have matchups all the way through, and got down to the end. Actually got into the 68 teams, or maybe it was only 66 teams back then. They keep expanding the tournament, and eventually they'll get to 399 teams. That won't be long. They'll have teams competing in the tournament that don't even exist. Or they'll bring in some professional teams. Basil said, Sunny, sunny. Meow. Meow. That's a little meow. Said, speaking of Philadelphia, why Philadelphia? Oh, okay. Basil's making a note of the fact that got him right all the way down to the end this year. Villanova Wildcats. Okay, that's a rah sis boom ba point for Basil. That a team called the Wildcats won the tournament over the North Carolina. No, this is not a Tar Heel. It's metallic. It's not a carbon substance. Okay. No, Basil's been telling me that he thinks this is actually either an elongated. No, it can't be a Hershey's Kiss. I mean, that would be a stretch, needless to say. But it's not any kind of candy. It's not. Well, it kind of looks like a Tootsie Roll. It doesn't have the joints in the proper place, the creases in the proper place, the segmentations. Although it does have what looks a lot like sedimentation from the cleaning of a sediment tank. No, we have city sewer here. Sorry. Shouldn't get it that close to me, should I? So could be a Tootsie Roll. I think that's made by Mars Candies, isn't it? So it's not the same candy company as Hershey's. It's not the same candy company as Kisses. So we possibly could get, if we treat this with enough deference, maybe we could get the endorsement of Mars. He's got a little tear in his eye. He's thinking about, he doesn't even have to say anything. He's sniffled a little bit, and he's thinking about David Bowie. And Basil's always been a big fan of David Bowie. And I said, Life on Mars, it kind of almost made him understand what life would be like if it turned out that Basil was a dog or a bird or anything other than Basil. I mean, he's been. I mean, he's not named Basil BuddhaCat for nothing. He's been through the gamut. He's been a cow. He's been a person. He's been pretty much anything you can imagine. He's been there, done that, and now he's Basil. And even in his two-dimensional self, he's still remains the cat of all cats. And even when he had that more sepia look to him in his three-dimensional, and you see his three-dimensional self in the opening and closing credits, along with our dearly departed Lilith, tail included, free of charge. And we called her Lilith, tail included, free of charge, because unlike Basil, who had what he described as being the perfect tail, that's to say it was about this long. It was a little stub of a tail. It was sort of a Manx-like tail attached to a what kind of cat were you? Hon, what kind of cat was Basil?
What?
What kind of cat was Basil? Maine Coon. Thank you. Thank you, at any rate. Yeah. Maine Coon with a Manx tail, and he we brought her home actually from the shelter, Lilith, tail included, free of charge, and lo and behold, you look behind her and she's got this big fluffy tail. And color-wise, she was kind of a calico. She had a little bit of this. She had the three colors. She was a three-color cat. And lo and behold, behind her was this big fluffy tail, and I guess apparently at the checkout line they didn't add that into the cost, which by the way was free at the shelter. And if you want to get a pet, that's the place to go, because you're going to get an animal that maybe has a little scar tissue to it emotionally or physically or both, but they're much more appreciative. Well, I guess a cat or a dog from a puppy or a kitty mill would be appreciative too, but not the same. Not the same. It's like buying an indentured servant or a slave, and that's, slavery went out a long time ago. In America a long time ago, and everywhere else a long time before that. So, okay, so Star-Kissed. We're still working on this one, Basil. We're going to get this one. I know it. And eventually, where you have Charlie on the label, and I don't know, somewhere here it says tell him Charlie sent you, or doesn't maybe. It'll say, you'll have Basil on the label, and it'll say tell him Basil sent you. And while we're working on getting the labels, before you come up with something that ridicules this product and loses it as a corporate sponsor for us, like you've done with our old friend, dearly gone, long gone, P-A-N-W root beer. And Basil kept saying, well, how do you know that it's the P? You don't see it, but it's there. P-A-N-W root beer is Basil's beverage of choice. How do you know? Well, look in Basil's cat pan, and you'll look around. You'll see evidence of that. You'll see evidence of Hershey's Kisses and an occasional Tootsie Pop or Tootsie Roll, and eventually you want. Okay. We've been doing this. We've been in dishonor of our former corporate sponsor, Hershey's Kisses. We got this lion-sized Hershey's Kiss, and somebody was out in the veldt in Africa, and brought us back one of these and said, "Hey, you know what? There's one of your there's a Hershey's Kiss for you." We said, yeah, okay, maybe we can impress Hershey's into keeping us on and being our corporate sponsor for a little while longer until Basil annoys them enough. And that happened, and so we've got this Hershey's Kiss lion-size version, and we've been trying to give it out to deserving people and things, and wait a second. Hold on. Interesting. Okay. So, but Basil ends up keep every week he gives, or every show that we do this on, he gives it out to Hershey's and says, well, in light of a better, more deserving company to deserve this lion-sized Hershey's Kiss, let's give it to Hershey. So I guess we have to do it again. Okay, back on the shelf. If it stays dry enough, maybe it'll shrink down too. So Villanova Wildcats. So what made it different this year? How in the world was it that you? Hold on. Hold on. How in the world was it that you got? Where'd it go to? Okay. How in the world you got it right this year? Where even the Pope let us down with giving you all the correct winners through all the brackets of the NCAA tournament. Basil said, meow. See, they actually got a better source than the Pope's cat. Wait a second, there was a Pope. Basil said, you have to excuse me, I've been up for 512 hours. Dork over here. Been sleeping some of those hours, but Basil's kept the camera running and recording and editing and putting the entry and the exit onto every half hour, and he's kept on going. Let him correct himself, he said. Said it was actually the tournament seeds and all the winners were given to him this year by the Pope's cat. And apparently the Pope's cat has become an even higher authority than Pope Francis himself. And you have evidence of that? Basil said, I got a big old wad of cashola to show that the Pope's cat knows better than the Pope. Did you double down this year? Did you keep on doubling down? Did you keep picking everything you want and put it into the next game? Said, he said, yeah. So, okay. Yeah, I know. I understand. Yeah, you're tired. I'm tired. That's what a telethon's all about. You stay awake and you get guests and call-ins and you discuss things and so you mentioned Philadelphia before, and I've forgotten exactly what you say, so I won't quote you on that. But you did mention Philadelphia. And you said something about the Wildcats, of course, who were from, right outside Philadelphia, Villanova University. But you made some offhanded remark about a lousy team. Now, who's that? Who's that? Is it a college, professional, high school? What is it? Who was it? Who's, I know we're not supposed to really, say bad stuff about anybody on the show, unless it's, leave them back there. Basil said, so get your Scrabble board out and take the letters in Golden State Warrior and jumble them around, hammer them, saw them apart, put them back together, whatever it takes. And you get the Philadelphia Sixers. Right. I guess you'd have to do a lot of sawing because the letters don't quite match up either way. So what about the Philadelphia? Well, it used to be the 76ers back in 76. I don't know, 1976, 1876, 17, whatever 76. They were the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's what you get. Because they're the antithesis of the Golden State Warriors. And well, somebody's on the phone laughing. And it's on, look, it's actually on the Nickelodeon phone, so it's a fairly important guest, apparently, according to Snarky and Tweety, who screen these calls. Okay, it's, okay. Basil, it's, okay. Quiz time. for the audience and for Basil. We have on the line a basketball player who played for both the Philadelphia 76ers and not the Golden State Warriors, but the San Francisco Warriors. Basil's thinking, I know he's thinking because all his whiskers are twitching. Not just the third from the right and third from the left, counterclockwise. They're all acting like there's static electricity going through him. Even the hairs in his ear are kind of jumping around. So that's his thinking. Okay? Sort of giving you the snake eye while he's thinking. I think you're going to have to give us another clue. So Basil, he said, you remember Willis Reed from the New York Knicks. Who doesn't remember Willis Reed? Except most everybody. This player also played in an NBA Finals against Willis Reed. And it was a great Finals. I mean, back then I guess you must have had guys like Jerry West playing and Walt Frazier, Jerry West from the Lakers, and Walt Frazier, Dave DeBusschere for the Knicks, Bill Bradley, Senator Bill Bradley, and former Senator Bill Bradley. And this guy apparently was playing. I'll spring it on you. He was playing opposite Willis Reed, and Willis Reed was injured in that NBA Finals. He was playing on a gimpy leg, and it was one of those great moments in sports where they introduced the starting lineups for one of the later games. Maybe it was the last game in this series. It was Game 6, I guess, or I think it was Game 6. I think he only played 6 to get the 4 wins for the Knicks. But when Willis Reed gimped out onto the floor, the crowd went crazy. Well, it's New York, so. Okay. Basil said, "You can stop right there, because I know exactly who it is. I know it all along," he said. And the twitching of the whiskers and the hair in the ears and all that stuff was just putting on a show to show you that even in his two-dimensionality, he can still whisker twitch with the best of them. This is Wilt Chamberlain. Yep, it's Wilt Chamberlain. And thank you for calling in to Basil BuddhaCat Presents! Exclamation point, and a tall one at that for you. So okay. Basil says, "Look, just let me explain it. I mean, you don't need to talk to me. I don't need to hear from Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt the Stilt." Basil said, well, I'll quote him first. Said, hold on, let me just set this down for a second. Said, the Philadelphia 76ers, or I think they're called the Sixers now because the 70 got stolen away last night by the Golden State Warriors, and with win number 70, and they still have a chance of breaking the Chicago Bulls season record of 72 wins and 10 losses. They've got 70 wins and 9 losses, so they could win the last 3 games and have 73 and 9, or they could have one tough game left. And I don't care either if the audience doesn't want to hear about sports. I mean, we've got to do a little sports once in a while. I mean, it's of interest to people. Up in the hammock, of course, we've got David Letterman, we've got Stephen Colbert, we've got Bill Murray, and we've got Drew Carey, and one of these days we'll explain on air what Drew Carey's nickname is, moniker LFFF, what that stands for, but we're certainly not going to do that on a Sunday. So the Golden State Warriors, 70 wins. They've got one game left against the San Antonio Spurs, which is a remarkably, probably the best second place team in the league, in this league, or at least maybe in any league ever. Only 12 losses. I mean, only three or four games back. The 12, they've got 13 losses now. So they're only 4 games back of a team that may set the record for most wins. And in another year, before last night, they could have actually tied the Chicago Bulls with Michael Jordan themselves. They had 12 losses. That's how many losses the Bulls had in that famous year where they were pretty good. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Dick Kerr, who's the coach of the Golden State Warriors, I believe. Yeah. So, or maybe that's Steve Kerr. It's maybe a different Kerr. I don't care. So, and on the other side, you've got the 76ers now called, I guess, the Sixers, because 70s, they can't ever have 70 again. What if a team comes along one day and wins 76 games in a season? Will they cease to exist? Basil said, said they may have already. So, I don't know. That's about it for us. I mean, we're coming to the end of hour number 512. We'll have to maybe get Will Chamberlain back on. He hung up on us. He said he's up to number 7,642 himself, and I don't mean episodes. But he passed away, and he left behind himself kind of quite a record, and maybe not one to be enviable about. But I guess he was single, and he could do what he wants, and not that. How does he have any energy left for any games? So it's been Basil BuddhaCat Presents. David Stevenson, Basil's co-host, interpreter, chief gopher. That's Gofer. And come on, Starkist, we need you. We need some cha-ching to pay for the non-existent salaries. So, Basil BuddhaCat Presents. Have a blessed Sunday, and we'll see you on hour number, whatever hour we'll see you on. Have a blessed Sunday. Bye.
They say they'd rob your grandma blind on Wall Street, fritter her away her Medicare on Wall Street. And Pharma Oil and their pet fox don't care if she lives in a box, so long as they wear platinum jocks on Wall Street, Meow.